What did you think it would be used for, ultimately?
I didn't know. I didn't build it with any particular use case exactly in mind. It was for big files.
Right.
And at the time, the stuff that everyone was shipping around was audio files, because video files were too big. Of course, BitTorrent made it so video files weren't too big. But now it's used for lots of different stuff, including, like, a lot of companies use it in-house for deploys to their own computer.
Obviously, over the years, it's gotten a reputation as being a tool for people to share files, big files, but often illegal files. Would you acknowledge that that was a big part, or has been a big part of BitTorrent's history, that it has actually been used as a vehicle largely, despite all the positive ways in which it can be used, largely to circumvent copyright?
Well,
and to share files illegally?
I think it's really unfortunate that the knee-jerk reaction to new technology is always to try and get rid of it. This is a long history of the copyright industry, going all the way back to the loom and the player piano and the VHS videotape. All these things immediately met with the reaction of, we're perfectly happy with the way things are today and we don't want it to change. And the fact is that using BitTorrent, it's possible to give customers a much better experience with much less cost than has ever been possible before. And it's really not being utilized properly, and it's really unfortunate. It's so bad that fans are able to set up a better experience for themselves than they can get by paying any amount of money for any legally available source of it. And that's the really unfortunate thing, that I think the way to handle this problem is to make the non-pirate experience be better than the pirate one, even if you ignore money.
But these days, I guess it's less about having a better experience. I mean, you can download music and films and TV shows legally, but of course, using BitTorrent, you can do it illegally. So it's not necessarily about a better experience, but certainly it provides a lot of anonymity, arguably, for users to be able to share copyrighted material.
Well, no, I disagree. So, like, I occasionally watch stuff on Netflix. I actually don't have a TV at home myself, but I do watch stuff on Netflix, and I find it very frustrating because the video quality is really terrible. And I really go out of my way to not do the slightest hint of pirating anything ever. But if I were just some nobody who didn't know about copyright or anything like that, my guess is I would probably pirate some of the stuff that I can watch on Netflix that I've already paid to be able to watch on Netflix, just because I'd like to watch it in higher resolution.
You've been on the record about having a specific form of autism, Asperger's syndrome.
Yeah.
How has that affected your work? Has that actually helped in some ways? Because I know obviously it can imbue you with a huge power of concentration.
Well, the definition of Asperger's has to do with the cognitive deficits that are associated with it, not any sort of cognitive benefits. Now, there's some cognitive benefits that frequently come with it as well. It does help you to have unusual interests. You know, any one thing that you think about sort of precludes other things you could have been thinking about at that time. And having interests in things that other people don't enjoy spending time thinking about kind of gives you this advantage at thinking about those things and working on those things.
So do you think BitTorrent as a technology would be around today had you not had that kind of syndrome? In other words, it gave you the focus to concentrate wholeheartedly on one thing. I don't
know, and it's sort of a complex question, so I can't give a simple answer to it. It depends on what ways in which I was different. So, like, now I think I'm a much better programmer than I was 10 years ago. I'm a much less coding-focused programmer. I'm much better at figuring out test cases and methodology for what I'm doing. And I don't enjoy the banging your head against the wall aspects of coding as much as I used to. So the cognitive deficits weren't core to my ability to get it done, but definitely there are a lot of unusual aspects to the way I am, and some of those are necessary for the kind of work that I do.